comes to things like hay fever, perhaps you don't need anything at all. That's the thing. So imagine not popping those Piriton or whatever it is that you're taking. An NHS doctor has revealed different ways that if you suffer from hay fever, you can combat your symptoms without using any medication.
Yeah, now Dr Sooj took to TikTok to share his tips online in a video which has racked up almost 100,000 views.
And he joins us now. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
So what's the magic here? What do people need to do?
So there are lots of different therapies for hay fever. So there's focuses around medical therapies as well as non-medical therapies. So your medical therapies can be given to you by any local chemist. Typically involves eye drops, nasal steroids and antihistamine tablets. And they vary in strength. But your non-medical therapies will focus around reducing your exposure to pollen, because hay fever is an allergic reaction to pollen, particularly grass pollen in the summer months, as we're experiencing now.
So how can you sort of isolate yourself from pollen at the moment?
It's hard, and it can be quite restrictive, but it all depends on the severity of your symptoms. So, for example, if you want to either reduce your exposure to pollen or reduce, if you can't prevent going outside and things like that, you want to reduce the amount of pollen that's going into your nose, eyes, mouth and throat. For example, avoid walking across freshly cut grass, avoid walking across grass if you can. If you're indoors, try and keep your windows shut. And it was quite difficult when it's really hot outside.
Yeah.
What about the old Vaseline trick? Does that work?
So Vaseline is great. So you can put a thin layer around your eyes and around your nostrils and under your nose and also around your mouth if you really wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, so essentially it will capture the pollen.
Before it goes into you.
And hopefully try and prevent it going into your eyes.
I've had some people say you actually stick a bit of Vaseline up inside your nose.
So some people would. When I've spoken with ear, nose and throat doctors, they've always said try and avoid putting any fingers or other devices in your nose and ears. But yeah, people do put it around the nostrils.
What about the one I've heard of, which is try and eat local honey? Is there anything in that? Honey that's made by local bees can actually give you some sort of immunity against local pollen.
So I have heard of that in the comments of some of my videos, but I've never actually looked into it myself to check if there's any scientific credence to it.
Right. Oh, it's worth a shot then. Do you think there's a need to do this, or why not just take the tablets or squirt the spray up your nose or whatever it is?
So it all depends on the severity of your symptoms. Some people don't necessarily like taking lots of medications. When people come to general practice, they've usually tried a lot of these things, yes. And many of these tactics are available on the NHS websites. But if, let's say, your symptoms are quite mild, and if you are staying inside, let's say you've got a ground floor flat that is not facing the sun, you can keep your windows shut during the day. You can not bring fresh flowers into your house every couple of days, and that will help to reduce your symptoms.
You're both wearing glasses. Do they protect you in any way from pollen?
So sunglasses can. We talk about wraparound glasses as well.
Yeah.
Again, it's just putting a barrier method. Many people, again, in the comments of my videos have reported that wearing a face mask helps to reduce like how much pollen they're breathing in.
Yeah, I suppose it would. I can't imagine it being overly popular though, with a lot of people.
Sunglasses and a face mask.
Yeah, you never know. Dr Sooj, really good to see you.
Thank you very
much indeed.